President Obama is calling on his Central American counterparts to step up and share responsibility for stemming the tide of illegal immigrant children, creating a humanitarian crisis that's only growing inside the U.S. day by day. So what is the president's next move? White House correspondent Wendell Goller has our lead story tonight.
After a meeting with the presidents of Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, President Obama said he's considering a pilot program granting refugee status to some Honduran children.
There may be some narrow circumstances in which there is a humanitarian or refugee status that a family might be eligible for. If that were the case, it'd be better for them to be able to apply in country.
Administration officials say the number of Central American children showing up at the U.S.-Mexico border has slowed in recent days, but is still taxing this country's resources. Too much for Ohio Sheriff Richard Jones.
Neil, we've got so many problems here. We've got homeless children here in our own country, in our own state, in my county.
The Central American leaders say the kids are running from a fire fueled by America's appetite for illegal drugs and the illegal sale of guns in their countries. Many of the children are physically or sexually abused on the dangerous trip. White House spokesman Josh Earnest says refugee status would offer a safer alternative.
People would see that there is an organized process if they feel like they have a legitimate asylum claim, that they don't need to make the dangerous journey to the U.S. to make that asylum claim, that they can be processed in their own country.
But the president suggested most of the children who arrive here illegally won't qualify for asylum. Presidential advisor Dan Pfeiffer says Mr. Obama wouldn't have to issue an executive order if Congress would pass comprehensive immigration reform.
I think that gives us broad permission to take what executive action we can to try to deal with the broken immigration system, because they're tremendously frustrated that Congress won't act.
Some Republicans don't trust the president would enforce the law if they passed comprehensive immigration reform, and some don't trust him to spend the emergency supplemental the way they want.
Why should we give those people any more money when they've already said they're not going to use the money the way it was appropriated?
And while Republicans don't agree on how much to spend on the problem, they generally agree whose problem it is.
The president owns this, and we want to make sure that he's held accountable for this, and only he can fix it.
The president's aides say he'd be very disappointed if Congress were to take its 5-week summer break without acting on the emergency money he's requested for the border. But there's just a week left before that recess, and there are wide differences to bridge in that time. Brett?
Wendell Goller live on the North.